It's been an interesting year and a half since starting Capital Games with Zero. And I'd like to continue that, but things do have to change. And I'm going to announce that change right now. But before I do, I want to thank everybody who has been listening to the podcast and watching the YouTube videos as they come off. You've noticed that we've been having some changes. I've been changing direction of the podcast itself, and I want to announce formally what that change is. Take a look. That is right. Capital Games is no more, and now it is I Am the Wiz. I figured that I would change things up, make it more central to me, since I do mostly the gaming stuff on my own now, and I do the movie stuff with Zero and Kim. So I thought I would rebrand everything into something fresher and newer that I think might be more compelling as well. And with the change, I'm going to talk about the changes that I am doing with the YouTube channel and the podcast going forward. First off, I'm going to not do the weekly dividend every Friday. I announced that in the final weekly dividend that we had that's up now. I explained it during the weekly dividend, and I'll explain it again. I got to a point where I was starting to do the gaming news roundups for the Monday and Wednesday, where I was just taking away certain stories just to have them for the weekly dividend, and now I think that's kind of silly. So I think at this point the weekly dividend is no more. I'm gonna end that. But what I will start doing is two new things I'm gonna do with the channel I Am the Wiz. First off, we're gonna have the gaming news roundups. We're gonna have that on Monday and Wednesday. I might do them on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. We will see. We're also going to have an editorial section called The Wiz Says. I did that in one of the gaming news roundups. I'm going to spout my opinion and in a more editorialized way. That's about either certain topics, games, or whatever. And then I'm going to have something called Thinning the Backlog. I got to tell you, and I think most of you out there are like this too, I have a ton of games that I have not even touched. And I want to get into talking about my opinions of games a little bit more in a little more detail. However, I don't review games like most reviewers do. If I'm not having fun with a game anymore, I stop. And I think forcing myself to continue to play the game just to review it is not something that I find necessary. I honestly think if you bought a game for like $20, you play 10, 20 hours of it, and you have a lot of fun, I think that's fine. And I want to get into more detail exactly how I feel those games, and I will be upfront and honest about how much time that I've spent playing the game. That information will be out there. When I'm doing the thinning the backlog on certain games, that's going to be the video that's going to show up on the YouTube channel, and that is also what I'm going to be talking about on those segments, and I'm calling it Thinning the Backlog. It's kind of a review thing, it's kind of not. So yeah, things are changing on the YouTube channel, things are changing on the podcast, and the key thing I want to get across is that I want everything to be on the podcast feed as well. So if you want to listen to me on YouTube or watch the videos on YouTube, great. If you'd rather just listen to me on podcast, that's also great. And you will find everything on I Am the Wiz. I have it as a parentheses gaming film podcast. So if you are interested in any of my content, it's on the podcast feed at I Am the Wiz. It's also on YouTube at I Am the Wiz Film Club and I Am the Wiz Gaming. I really hope you continue this journey with me and to see where we'll go forward on this. Again, thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching and listening. Take care, and I hope to hear from you all next time.